Hey everybody, it's me, Shell360, and we're just gonna chat. We're gonna talk. We're gonna have a talk. The weekend was brutal, you guys. So we're just gonna talk today. I don't have an agenda or anything else. I just want to talk because, yeah, you know, I've said this before. This right here is how I keep from having to pay therapy bills. So please indulge me as I seek your comfort and your company while I'm going through some things. Uh, Let me start by what's foremost on my mind, and it doesn't have anything to do with K-pop, you guys. It's news stuff, and I know everyone is exhausted about news stuff. I mean, living in America, the news is tiring. I don't even watch it anymore because I'm so freaking exhausted. But um, I want to talk to you guys because there was a shooting in El Paso over the weekend, and normally I don't talk a lot about shootings and things like that on my channel, but I'm talking about this. Hey, Anthony, I'm talking about this because I actually grew up in El Paso. I'm an army brat, have been for years, and El Paso was my stomping grounds. I went to middle school there, I went to high school there, I went to community college there before I moved to the other side of Texas, and it was just a big part of me developing myself. And I've always said that people who travel through different cultures tend to have a more open mind. And thanks to my time living in Germany and my time living in El Paso and then my time living in East Texas, having a Southern family, I've been exposed to a lot of different cultures. I've been exposed to Southern Black culture, of course, living in Southern white culture, going to Germany and experiencing European culture, and then going to El Paso and experiencing Latin culture. It's just, I have never been the kind of person to believe that my way is the only way because of the experiences I've had and the different people I've met, and realizing that we all kind of live within the experiences we've had. And so you can't put somebody at fault for not knowing or believing that a certain way is the way, because that's all they've ever known. Even some of the hateful shit that people believe, if they've never been fed anything else, it's hard to imagine that they can learn anything different. And El Paso was a pivotal experience for me and really shaped a lot of who I am today. Absolutely. So, hearing about the shooting in El Paso was devastating because it happened at Cielo Vista Mall. Cielo Vista Mall is what we always call it because, of course, I don't speak Spanish, but Cielo Vista Mall was my mall growing up. When I lived in El Paso, there used to be a bus route that was about 3 streets up from my house. I used to get on the bus and take the bus from where I stayed at, because I live near Canyon Hills, take the bus from where I stayed at to go down to the North Park bus depot. And then I would catch another bus in North Park and take it to Cielo Vista Mall. And I would spend my Saturdays in the mall and then come home. And sometimes I'd go to the mall with nothing but like $5 in my pocket, but I would spend all day at the mall. And it was my first real freedom as a young adult, like being able to take the bus to the mall and not have to have parents with me or watching over me. I felt like I was grown up, and I learned how to like take care of myself and keep myself safe by doing this, because I'd look out for strangers and people that were suspicious, and I would make sure I kept my money on me and that I didn't lose my wallet or I didn't lose my keys. Like, I had to learn how to take care of myself in order to enjoy this freedom. And the last thing I ever thought about when I would go to the mall or get on the bus was that someone was going to shoot me. I never thought that. And Columbine actually happened in the last couple of years that I was in high school. I was in high school when Columbine happened. So that was the first like big shooting I ever remember anybody talking about. But that was in Colorado. Ironically enough, I live in Colorado now. But that was in Colorado. And that had nothing to do with me because that was just so random and so weird and just it wasn't anything anybody was used to, that I didn't think about it. I never thought about it. And in the years since, it has broken my heart to think about it. It has broken my heart because the shootings have been everywhere, and it's been in places that touched my life. When my mother moved here to the Springs, they had a shooter at the Planned Parenthood not that far from her house. The Aurora shooting is on the way to the airport where I take my daughter all the time to go visit her dad's family. But this felt very different to me than those other things. Because El Paso, for all intents and purposes, is my childhood home. I lived in El Paso when Selena died. And I remember sitting at the bus stop with all my friends and watching them cry over Selena. El Paso was where I went to the first gay bar I've ever been to. And my friend Robert came out to me after we graduated high school. I was still going to community college at the time. And he asked me to go with him to the LGBT community center. And I did that. And then they invited us to go out to a club with them, which we did. And it was my first exposure to drag culture and learning what it meant to be bisexual, what it meant to be transgendered, all of these things. I learned so much about who I am, and I became me, and I became what I'd like to believe is a better person, a good person from the good people I met in El Paso. And I've told stories about my time in El Paso throughout the years. I remember I told you guys the Raymond story. Some of you don't keep up with my lives like that, but I told you guys about Raymond, the little boy who his mother left him behind. She moved to Germany and left him behind because he was gay and possibly transgendered. And she left him behind when he was in, I want to say, the 3rd grade or maybe the 5th grade. But yeah, like, I experienced a lot in that town. And it makes me sick. It makes me sick that this happened. And this isn't even like, this is the closest to me in terms of life experience, but this isn't even the closest shooting to my family. My sister lives in Farmington, New Mexico, and about 10 miles down the street from her, there was a school shooting where a boy liked a girl and the girl didn't like him back, and he walked into the school and shot her and then shot himself, I believe. And I'm scared to death. I'm scared. I'm so scared. I'm scared because I have a child going to high school. I'm scared because I shop at Walmart. I'm scared because I like to go to the mall. I'm scared because I like to go to the movies. I'm scared because I have to work for a living. I'm scared because I can't keep myself trapped in my house. And I mourn for the fact that a lot of you have those same fears. And it is impossible. It is impossible to imagine growing up and not ever having had the freedom that I enjoyed. I'm allowed to mourn a time and a place because I was able to live through it. You guys have never known a society without school shootings. You never have. You guys have never known a society where people didn't have to be scared to leave their houses because of random shooters. And when you start to count on your fingers and tick off the list of places you can't go, you can't go to festivals, you can't go to concerts, you can't go to Walmart, you can't go to the movies, you can't go to the mall, you can't go to school, you can't go to the doctor's office, you can't go to the grocery store, you can't do anything. I remember a time when that wasn't the case. I remember my biggest fear used to be gangs, used to be getting robbed from being on public transportation, used to be police, honestly, scared of, and I'm still scared of police. Because I've been pulled over for crazy stuff. I've been pulled over because a police officer said that I was driving like I was sleepy. Like, it is. I remember a time when you could just go, when you could just go. And I think about you guys and the fact that you can't just go. And you've never known what it was like to just go. And I feel horrible. I feel horrible for you. I feel horrible for me, but I feel horrible for you. And it makes me have more empathy for you guys than I've ever had. I mean, I've always felt a certain amount of kinship with you because we're friends and we talk and we share and we have a lot of the same point of view. But I realize now why it is you guys try so hard to assert your individual freedom. And it's because you have no other freedoms in this world. Those of you who identify as members of the LGBTQIA plus community, you want to be free to be you because you're not free to exist in this plane, on this planet, in these places, because they're all corrupted and they're all terrible. For those of you who want to be free to wear your hair in natural hairstyles and you're not allowed to, you just want to express yourself through your clothes, through your fashion, through what you wear. Those of you who listen to K-pop, who just want to express the kind of music you like and be allowed to just wear your pins and everything else. For those of you who are struggling with mental health issues, and the war is in here as well as out there, and you just want people to understand that you are struggling and that because of what's happening in your mind, then what alternative do you have? And it just really hurts my heart. It really hurts my heart for you guys and what you're going through. And I just want you to know I understand. I really understand. I can't say that I'm 100% because until I live your life, I'll never be. But I have empathy for the position that you're in. And I'm trying every day to become a better person so I can be more sympathetic, so I can foster more love in this world. Because it is the hateful rhetoric and the evil mindset and the people who've allowed their life's frustrations and disappointments to drive them to this point that are keeping the rest of us enslaved and in shackles. We should be free. You and I should be free. And the people who keep us from having our freedom are keeping us from having our freedom because they don't have any freedom. Not saying that they deserve it, because look what animals they are. But the people who are shooting up all of these different venues, they're hateful people that are imprisoned by their hate. And instead of going ahead and doing us all a favor and either seeking some help or keeping it to themselves, they go out here and they kill us. And it's not fair. And it's not right. And it just sucks because you guys have had so much taken away from you. So I want to talk about that. I needed to talk about that because it just hurts. It hurts in a real way. And what's even more painful for me is that I have heard really ugly things being said. I've heard people say that the reason why this happened is because of video games, which is bullshit. I've heard people say it happened because of gay marriage and drag queens, which is bullshit. I've heard people say it's because of mental health, which I can take a bit of that, but there's also personal responsibility that played into this as well. But I've heard on the other flip side of that, on the much sadder side of that, because El Paso is a city with a large migrant population, they believe that several people got shot and left the scene and went home with their injuries because they were afraid of ICE picking them up. Now, I don't care where you fall when it comes to the border debate. I don't think it's right that people need to be so afraid of deportation that they won't even go to the hospital and have their gunshots treated. That to me goes too far. You know, I understand there's a time and a place for everything, but when it comes to somebody being wounded, let's be humans first and worry about immigration and deportation stuff later, because it's the decent thing to do, to care about human beings first. So yeah, I just want to talk to you guys about that because it was on my mind. And so now we can get back to our regularly K-pop scheduled programming if you'd like, but I couldn't go without talking about this. Okay, so I'm gonna read a couple of comments here. Late VIP Bloomer says can't even go to work. Agreed. Suk Bangtan says I'm 17 and in high school, and 3 times there was a school shooting threat at my school, and it's honestly so scary just to go. Totally understand where you're coming from. There was a school shooting threat at my daughter's school, and I made my daughter go to school, and she was like, Mom, I'm scared. And I said, honey, I know you're scared, but I've already called the authorities. I've done everything I can. At this point, they say it's been handled. They sent out a thing saying it's been handled, so I don't know what else I could do. And that's on top of a year where at the beginning of the school year, it was this past year that they had the shooting threat, but at the beginning of the school year, one of the high school students killed herself, a freshman at the high school. So it is just, I'm sorry that we have failed you. I'm really sorry that we failed you. I'm sorry that the adults have made it to where you don't have a safe place. But I hope that this can be kind of a virtual, metaphorical safe place for you. Diana Sam says 2 days ago, my mom learned that her coworker killed one person and attempted to kill another person before the police arrested him. What is going on in the world? I'm so sorry for your mom having to realize that she was around somebody that was this unhinged, but I thank God that this person didn't turn their anger on your mother, that she's still here, because you don't know where people will turn their anger. Sometimes people choose to turn it on coworkers. In fact, it's really weird. This latest shooting that happened in El Paso at the Walmart is the second Walmart shooting, I think, in the last 2 weeks. Fuck is going on? Okay. Des6791 says, thank you for talking about this. I've been scared because I live in a city with a huge immigrant population. Thank you for your thoughts on this topic. Why does that matter if the immigration population is large? They are less likely to commit a crime than Americans. I'm not saying the immigrant population being large is a problem. I'm not saying it's a problem. I'm just saying when I lived in El Paso in the 90s, I used to walk across the border to Juarez all the time. I would walk across the border. I would buy jewelry, get glasses, buy cheap alcohol, walk back across the border. Didn't even have to bring a passport. My driver's license was enough. And in the years since, it is not that way. It's not that way at all. And because there's been such a crackdown on immigration, a lot of people are scared. A lot of children graduate and their parents don't come to graduation because they're afraid that ICE is waiting to check IDs, which is ridiculous. Let people have their graduations. Why do you have to make everything a police state? You know, a lot of times when kids are sick, parents don't show up at the school because of immigration status. So they find someone else in the family that's legal that can come to the school and help the kid. They won't even list their contact information on the paperwork for their children. Like, it's just gotten to the point where, you know, it breaks up families. It deletes the support system for children. It makes what used to be a cooperative society a much less cooperative society. And yeah, I'm not saying that every single immigrant that comes to America is good, because hell, look at all the people who killed the Native Americans when the Pilgrims showed up. Immigrants can be bad. But what I'm saying is that in a time when people are facing life and death moments, when people are actually hurt and needing assistance, can we leave all the immigration stuff aside? Because don't think for a minute that the person who shot up this Walmart wasn't looking for Hispanic people. They absolutely were targeting Hispanic people. Sorry, not Hispanic, Latino people, particularly Mexicans. This was definitely motivated by an attack on immigrants. And so, because people knew that that's what it was, they could tell immediately that that's what it was. People left. People left the scene rather than risking ICE catching them after going through something that horrific. And that is bullshit. We shouldn't live in a country where people are so scared of ICE that they won't get medical assistance. Um, Tephoric says, I used to work at a high school up until earlier this year, and we had 2 shooting threats last year. One of them was so bad that it still shakes me now just thinking about it. I'm sorry that you have to go through that, but I definitely understand why you would not want to work in that environment. The fact that you didn't have to be there, why would you want to be there? But that also hurts us as a people, because how are we expected to get the best educators for our children when teachers are afraid to go to school, because they know that if it came down to it, they would be the ones to shield the younger ones, to keep them in out of harm's way. And they have their own families. And if I had to choose between my child or a stranger's child, no matter how much I care about kids, I want to live to take care of mine. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take care of mine. Meg says, I'm anticipating having to go through active shooter training at work, and I'm so sad. I'm about to age myself, but I was in 5th grade during Columbine, and to see bulletproof backpacks now breaks my heart. I didn't know they made bulletproof backpacks, but I almost feel like I need to buy one. And that stinks. Anthony says there was also a shooting in Ohio as well. Yes, there was. There was a shooting in Dayton, Ohio, which when earlier I was mentioning that someone had said that drag queens and gay marriage were the cause of all of these shooters. It was actually an Ohio politician who said that on her Facebook, that, you know, the moral code of America allowing gay marriage and transgendered people and drag queens was the reason why this was happening, even though from what I can tell from most news reports, there was no mention of the shooters being drag queens or being trans people. So I don't know why that played into a part of her discussion about all this. Seth Bangtan says, yes, it's true. The shooter was going after minorities. It was said that he, a white male, thought America was being taken over by minorities, and so he did that. That honestly is so disgusting. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And people's reactions to this have been fucking awful. Actually, I was really surprised. I think his name is Neil Tyson DeGrasse. Tyson Neil DeGrasse. Forgive me if I'm wrong, because I don't really say his name very often. The science guy, basically. He did a tweet talking about, yeah, there were shootings, but there's also this many suicides and this many heart attacks and this many car accidents per year. And a lot of people jumped on him. And, you know, for good reason. You know, if we're hurting because of something that feels absolutely preventable, that no one's doing anything about, nobody wants to hear your statistics. This is not the time to give us a course in statistics. This is the time for you to acknowledge that people are having a very emotional response to a situation, and statistics and numbers aren't a comfort for them. So maybe don't right now. You know, I can tell you this, when I've dealt with tragedy in my life, I didn't want to hear statistics. If someone had told me after my uncle killed himself, oh, well, you know, suicides happen all the time, 1 out of every 2,000 mental health patients end up killing themselves, I probably would have gotten arrested, because I would have had to fight somebody. So maybe keep your numbers to yourself, and let's talk about it when we're not actively wounded by whatever has happened. Um, yeah, it was really insensitive. It just, the whole thing, the reactions have been awful. And then there's been the kind reactions, and then there's been the angry reactions. You know, a lot of us parents out here are angry. A lot of you young people are angry. I feel like you were robbed of something that we owed you. You know, since time immemorable, it's always been making it better for your kids, making it better for the generation that comes after you. And I don't see how we did that. I don't see how I don't see how we're doing that for you. We were supposed to do that for you, and we didn't. And I'm sorry because, well, I'll tell you my part in it. I don't know anybody else's, but when I graduated from high school and was a young adult going to college and everything else, I really thought that my generation was going to change the world. I thought that, you know, we were the most open minded, kind of woke generation out there. Our parents had gone through the civil rights movement. We were we were the first to have gay people on television, and we talked about the AIDS crisis, and we talked about people being transgender, and there were a lot of movies that came out when I was younger that dealt with different lifestyles. And I say all that to say that it seemed like we were going to be more progressive, and I guess it was just a veneer. It was something that was in the media, but the changes weren't really happening at home. So I didn't feel the need as a young person to buck the system because I felt like it was supposed to already be changing. And I didn't realize how much of what I was seeing on TV was propaganda to make me believe the world had changed when really nothing had changed. It's just that all of the hate and the evil rhetoric had gone from being on the 6 o'clock news to being underground and being whispers and things that people said when they were amongst friendly company. And so we didn't try to weed out that hate. We didn't work hard enough to make sure that it was out and that people weren't finding new ways to be biased and new ways to spread hate and new ways to be discriminatory and biased. And we didn't realize that dress coding, and we didn't realize that language and all of these other things were playing a part in keeping our society from being the beautiful place that it should be. We didn't try hard because it wasn't in our faces, and we were worried about getting jobs, and the economy was crashing. I remember being in college when the Enron thing happened, which you guys don't even know what Enron is, but I lived in Texas, and I went to school at a Texas university, and a lot of the kids there, their parents work for a huge energy company called Enron. And Enron was massive. It was like ExxonMobil massive. And they went out of business because of a bunch of scam accounting and everything else. And I had several kids that I went to school with that dropped out of school because their parents lost their jobs because their parents worked for Enron. And it was the beginning of like a housing crisis and a huge economic downturn. And a lot of us felt like we had no prospects. We were going to school trying to get a degree for a job that didn't exist when we got out. And it got us distracted, it got us sidetracked. And we didn't even think about like how we need to do better as people, because we were thinking, how can I get a job? How can I have a career? How can I, have the things that I was promised I would have? And so we let you guys down because we didn't pay enough attention. We weren't asking for health resources for mental illness. And I'm sorry that we didn't do that. So I want to make sure you guys know that I realize where I'm complicit in this. And I'm sorry that I did that. So Cutie Cat says, my brother hung out with friends and they met with one of their school friends who legit had a gun in his bag. He's only 16. I'm so glad my brother came home after he saw it. Where we live is Mass. So I'm guessing Mass Massachusetts. I have a hard time saying that word. I'm so sorry. Yeah. In terms of gun control, because the question was asked how I believe gun control should play out. I live in America, and as much as I would love to have guns banned, because I don't think that we live in a society that demands the use of guns, I know it's never going to happen. It's a really weird situation, and people from other countries aren't going to understand this, so it's really hard to explain. But I'll give you kind of the short form of it. People in America demand to have access to guns so they can protect themselves from people with guns. Long and short of it. Like, seriously, the long and short of it is we demand to have guns to protect ourselves from people with guns. Whether the people with guns are the military, the police, people who try to break into your house, people who want to steal your belongings outside, deranged, angry shooters. It is literally the right to bear arms to protect yourself from being taken advantage of by other people bearing arms. And because this is the rationale, you're never going to be able to get rid of guns in this country. It's never going to happen. Never going to happen. Of the main amendments to the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the right to bear arms is in the Bill of Rights for America. So, it's one of the founding principles of our country. And it was included in our Constitution. For those of you who are from not America, it was included into our Constitution because at the time, Britain had outlawed the right of colonists to bear arms in order to prevent the colonists from being able to form militias to fight against the British. And so colonists made sure that when they did their own constitution that they would put in the right to bear arms. That way the government can never take advantage of the people. And back in the 1700s, this made sense. This made a lot of sense. We now live in the 2000s, so it's several hundred years later. And I don't necessarily see the need for guns. And we don't live in a society where people really use guns for their livelihood. There used to be a time when, people needed guns because they maintained animals, agriculture, farming, things like that. And you needed guns for coyotes. You needed guns for hunting game for food. You needed guns for protection of your property. Because in the Wild West, where there wasn't police and even roads, people needed guns. But now we're in a society where, most of us, we get our groceries from the grocery store. Most of us have cities that we live in where there are police officers and police stations and sheriff's departments. And so the need for guns, I don't feel like is as much. But I live in America, like I said, and I'm realistic about the fact that we're never going to be able to get rid of guns. But I think that we can regulate which kind of guns are available to the public, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and I wish more people could come together on that. I don't think that large capacity weapons should be available to the general public. I don't think that automatic weapons should be available to the general public, whether it's a handgun or rifle, whatever. An automatic weapon, I don't think should be allowed. I think if we're going to be out here with guns, we should all be out here with pistols and old-fashioned rifles and those kind of things, because the founding fathers didn't have A's. So if we're going by the principle of the thing, we maybe don't all need to have access to those particular weapons. And maybe there should be a limit on how many weapons people should have. Like, maybe each citizen should only be allowed to register 5 weapons instead of being able to have an unlimited arsenal of weapons. Because in America, there is no limit to the amount of guns you can have. So, these are thoughts. See some more comments here. Yes, it's Massachusetts, and it is all right. Please don't only blame yourself for what has happened to our society. We are all to blame in a certain way. We all could have done more. Absolutely. We all could have done more, but I think it's important that people understand their part, because if you don't acknowledge your role in things, it's too easy to shift blame, and people keep shifting blame down and down and down the line until no one's taking responsibility, and we end right back up where we are. with no one taking responsibility. Here we have a person who targeted migrants to kill, and no one's taking responsibility. No one's taking responsibility. So someone's got to start. Okay. Have you ever seen a gun or held one in person? If so, was it scary? Because it seems like it would be. I have seen a gun in person, yes. The closest I've come to holding a gun was, I think I held a rifle once. I know I've held a BB gun once. But I've never fired a gun in my life, even a BB gun. I've never fired a BB gun. I think the closest I've come is a paint gun. I fired a paint gun. I've never had an interest in guns. Never. Not once. So that's the reason why I've never experienced guns. Guns are scary. The people that I've known in life who had guns were not always the coolest people. My stepfather, when he was alive, he had access to guns, and my stepfather was the kind of guy who would drink and get extremely mean when he would talk to you. And the idea of him having access to a gun when he was drinking used to be very scary to me. But, I just thank God that he never got it in his mind to solve an argument by pulling out a gun. But there are people who do, and do it frequently. There are people who use guns to solve their problems, and I don't think that's what they're made for, but apparently some people, they make their own definition of what they needed. And not to say that gun violence is, once you solve gun violence in America, that's going to solve everything. That's not true. In a lot of countries where they have outlaws on outlawed gun possession, people are still stabbing each other to death. I know it was a big thing in the UK, throwing acid on people, which you can imagine how absolutely frightening it's got to be walking down the street and all of a sudden you feel something wet and burning on your flesh, and you don't even know what to do because it's in your eyes and you can't see and you can't breathe because it's in your mouth and it's eating away at your skin and at your throat. Like, oh my God, how utterly horrific that's got to be to experience. So people will find a way. Banning guns won't prevent all violence, but I think it'll at least give a few other people a chance to run, maybe. Because the people who got killed in Dayton, all of that happened in 30 seconds, a half a minute. And I think it would take you more than a half a minute to stab 9 people to death. I think so. So, yeah. It won't stop everything, but maybe it will slow it down a little bit, right? Give people a chance to get the hell out the way. Tephoric says, my dad has a gun, but he's licensed and only got it for protection because he was robbed in our backyard. I always thought guns were scary, even as a kid, but he never let us see it, kept it well hidden. And Tephoric's an example of what I mean by saying people own guns to protect themselves from other people with guns. And that's why I say you're never going to have an America that doesn't have guns, because people always say, well, if you take away my gun, how am I going to protect myself from the people who have illegal guns? And so here we are, back at square one. Caleb says, my brother shot himself in his own hand by accident when he was a teenager, I believe with his dad's gun. I'm sorry that happened to your brother. That's got to be super frightening for you and your family. And, that's another thing, gun safety. You hear stories all the time about children who accidentally shoot themselves or shoot other children because guns are not stored safely. So that's another thing to be cognizant of, too, is that people who own guns should have a high standard for how they store guns, and they should bear heavy consequence when people hurt themselves with guns that were stored improperly. And I think that if you have a gun and your gun is stolen, you have a duty to report it immediately to the police. You also have a duty to explain the circumstances by which your gun was stolen. And if your gun was stolen because you were negligent in the way you stored it, then you should be held accountable for any crimes committed with that gun. So, Yeah, gun owners need to be responsible for sure. So, thank you guys for giving me 40 minutes to think about that, because, like I said, it's just been on my heart, it's been on my mind, and it is really difficult. I'm glad to hear that he's okay, by the way, K-Hope. It's really difficult to, it's really difficult to talk about these things. And everybody has their own opinions and beliefs about stuff, and I get it. But it's important to talk about these things, because if we don't talk about them, how can we be expected to do better? It's kind of like any kind of skill. Without practice, without action, you atrophy. And so it's important for us to continue to do these exercises in critical thinking, in the hopes that maybe through conversation, through evaluation, through calls to action, we'll come across a solution. I don't know how, but we'll come across some sort of solution. All right, so we're now segueing into actual K-pop stuff, you guys. Not that I don't want to talk about this anymore. I absolutely don't mind, but I want to talk about this because, like I said, it's something that we have to continue to have the conversation about, because we're out here dying, so we can't ignore it. So now I'm going to talk about K-pop, and I'm going to start with some things I got in the mail. And this is the wildest segue ever, because I'm going to show you guys some K-pop toys. I know, wild. So let's start over. Hey guys, it's Michelle360, and we're going to talk about K-pop toys. So I got 2 K-pop toys in the mail, and I'm sure you can guess what they are, because how many K-pop toys actually exist out there. So let's start with this, which was in the thumbnail. This is my Namjoon. I say his name wrong. I always call him Namjoon, like he's from Texas. I act like he went to high school with me. This is my friend Namjoon, but this is my Namjoon, otherwise known as RM BTS doll. I bought this doll from Amazon. I actually bought it on pre-order. So this doll was not very expensive. It was $19.99, no taxes. And this doll was supposed to come out on July the 31st, and I got it on July the 30th. And I'm gonna open this. Initially, I was not gonna open this doll because I don't normally open packaging for stuff like this, but I am gonna open this, and I'm gonna open it because I'm actually really upset about this doll. I'm not upset about the way the doll looks. I'm actually upset about the packaging. So I'm gonna show you a couple things with the packaging that make me upset. So let's start with the side of the packaging. I don't know if you can tell from looking. You might not be able to, honestly, but there's a crease that runs from right here kind of all the way down the side of my doll, because the plastic was kind of smushed in when I got my doll. So that kind of sucks, because the side of the package has the BTS door logo. You can kind of see it. And on the other side, where it's smashed, the door logo is kind of messed up because of the line going all the way down. So that stinks. It's really cheap packaging. So this is the front with the little hanger on it. And instead of having like something fun and decorative here, all it has is just BTS. That's all it has. It doesn't even say RM in big print here. Like, I don't even know if you can see that. I'm gonna get as close as I can, and hopefully you can see where it says RM right there. Like, it is really, really hard to see that this is the RM doll. So in terms of like graphic design, that's a mistake. This doll is based on the promotions for Idol. Am I wrong? This is Idol, right? Yes. Am I right? Am I right? Tell me if I'm right, because I might be wrong. I want to say this outfit is from Idol. If I'm wrong, let me know. The reason I'm asking about that is because the picture on the back is from Love Yourself Her. This is the picture on the back. I don't understand why you wouldn't use the picture from the promotion that this doll came from. And I get why it's not a color picture because they're being cheap. So Barbie is like, we're gonna be cheap and pick a black and white photograph so that we can print the back in black and white, print the front in black and white, so we don't have to use any colored ink to make this doll. But I feel like you could have taken a picture from the Idol promotions and done a photograph from the Idol promotions on the back and just tinted it black and white. So that's kind of disappointing to me. I mean, why would you put them in a totally different outfit than the outfit that's on the doll? And I do not believe you have the option of buying these outfits. So, yeah, I think that's a poor choice in terms of packaging. And then this is the thing that kind of makes me the most mad. Do you see this right here? That is printed. It's not a sticker. I've never bought any official BTS merchandise that didn't have some form of the holographic sticker on it. And again, like I said, this wasn't terribly expensive, but this was still $20, which is more than the cost of a CD. Of a lot of things are around the same cost as a CD. So why can we afford to put the holographic sticker on the back? It almost makes me feel like I got a bootleg. And the only reason I know this is not bootleg is because I bought it from the official Mattel shop on Amazon. So that's why I know it's not bootleg. But that is something that I think was a cheap thing to do. Yeah, it's official, but I mean, it's packaged like this. This looks like this was made somewhere else. Like, this is just really cheap packaging. I don't know if you could tell, but it's kind of like, it's a little bit dented here in the back. You know, it's just cheap. Even down to the way that the BTS sign is glued to the front of the plastic. You've got these big glue marks on the front that just, they look ugly. They look ugly. So yeah, I think that they could have done a much better job with this. I have another BTS toy I'm going to show you that I don't think it has a sticker either. No, this doesn't. Oh no, this does have a sticker. Okay, yeah. So it stands to date. This is the only official BTS item that I've ever received that did not have a holographic sticker on it. Even the item I'm going to show you after this has a holographic sticker on it. So yeah, I think they could have done better. But another. Sorry, you guys. You know, it's not a good live stream unless we have a disconnect. So I've got my razor right here, and here's my packaging. I'm going to open this up. And I'm trying to open it in a way that I can glue it back if I feel like it. So that's why I'm using the razor for a cleaner cut. Okay. That should get us open, I think. Now let's do a little bit more up here. Sorry about that, guys. Just trying to get it opened as neatly as possible. Even though the glue adhesive is not that great, it just kind of wants to come off on its own. So here we go. And, oh, he's jointed. That's nice. Let's see here. I'm going to cut the little bands that are holding him in place. He's got a band on his hand, band around the ankles, band around the waist, and he's got a piece of plastic in his head. Let me take that off. 2 pieces of plastic in the back of his head. Ah, got it. All right, so here you are. This is Kim Namjoon, and that's his face. As you can see, he's wearing trademark dimples. The hair is in way better condition than what I thought it was going to be. I really was afraid this hair was going to be a disaster because the prototypes were really, really awful. I still think that this doll kind of looks a little bit like Elvis to me, but I mean, considering what it could have been, I think it's okay. Out of the dolls that Mattel has made for this launch, I think that RM's is one of the ones that looks the most like him. So I will give them that. He's got a band around his ankles that have his ankles kind of permanently crossed. You can cut that band if you want to. I'm not gonna. The outfit that he's wearing I don't recommend taking it off. I'm looking at the jacket right now, and there is, I don't know if you can see, there's a little piece of plastic right there that runs from the front to the inside and is pinned to the pants. That's to keep his jacket from flopping open. And you can see there's the piece of plastic right here and right here. So, yeah, if you buy this doll, I wouldn't take off his clothes, because unless you plan to like dress him in something totally different, which actually, now that I'm thinking about it, if I can find the right clothes for him, he might get a redress. He might just get a redress, because yeah, I could see that. But yeah, if you want to keep him in his idle clothes, then I would not recommend taking them off, because you're not going to be able to get them to look the same once you take them off. His hair is blue. I don't know if you guys picked up on that, but it's a mixture of brown and blue. It's a really weird color. I am going to say that. That color is, I don't know who came up with that color. I don't like it. So I'm going to read some of your comments here. Cutie Cat says, my friend did a repaint of his J-Hope doll. It looks a lot better. I wish I was talented enough to do repaints of dolls, but I do not have that skill at all. When the protos came out, I was like, yes, RM does look good, but he does look like Elvis. I don't know how people buy all 7. I'm not sure how people buy all 7 either. I mean, well, I take that back. If BTS is the only group that you collect, then why wouldn't you collect all 7 of these? They're really cool when you think about it. Rest in peace to their bank accounts. His hair is supposed to be gray. His hair looks black on screen. Okay, so I'm going to close up a little bit more, hoping that you can see it. You might not be able to see it. Okay, let me see. What can I do to help out with this? I'm trying to think, what can I do to help? Okay. So, close up. Hopefully you can see it. Maybe you can't. But his hair's got blue streaks. My focus is not working here. Oh, sorry. Let's see here. Do we got it? Do we got it? Kind of, a little bit. So, yeah, okay, so you can see it now. His hair is black with like turquoise blue strands. It's not gray. It is blue and black. Absolutely is blue and black. In fact, there's like one chunky piece of blue right here. So, and it's hard. The lighting makes it difficult for you to see it, but then when I put it against this purple, you can kind of tell that it's blue. But yeah, his hair is blue. His hair is blue. I don't know why they're saying that this is gray. This is blue hair. But yeah, I think overall, things that they got right, I think the eye shape, I think they got his kind of sleepy eye shape done really well. I think his lip shape is pretty nice. I think his nose could have been slightly smaller and a little bit upturned, because Namjoon kind of has a button nose. And he also has the dimple. So Cutie Cat says they all have abs. You'd have to take off the clothes to see the abs, and I'm not taking off these clothes. I'm not taking off these clothes at all. They do have jointed hands, though. I briefly mentioned it, but just so you can see, the hands are jointed, so you can move the hands. And because the hands are jointed, I'm pretty certain that the ankles are probably jointed. The knees are jointed. I can feel the knee joints, and the elbows are jointed as well, so you can move the elbow, and then the arm is jointed. So there you go. This jacket is not made for a lot of action, so I probably wouldn't do too much with it, but yeah. And then the head, what does that say on the back? It says 2019 Mattel on his neck. So he's got like a little bit of a tattoo, which you can't really see very well, but it says 2019 Mattel. So yeah, overall, pretty good. He has jointed hips as well, so if you wanted to sit him down, you probably could do so, because he's flexible. So yeah, I mean, for a Barbie doll, if this was just a regular Barbie doll, I would be willing to pay $15 for this. I think 20 is a little high. The packaging, like I said, is a disappointment. They could have done way better with the packaging, but overall, I'm not disappointed in the doll. I'm disappointed in some of the other choices for the doll. So that's the one toy that I got. And then my second toy Um, I think that this doll looks a lot like RM. I think the skin tone is a little off to me. I don't think that RM is this pale, but like I said, I think the dimple, the eye shape, like I said, I probably would have gone a little bit smaller with his nose. The nose shape is off to me. So that's what I'm going to put that there. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to show you is a toy. And this one, I'm not sure if I'm going to open it because there's a lot going on here, and I don't want to have to put this back together. But I bought this, which is the BT21 bus. It is the camping car. So I bought this because I get these random sales emails from Choice Music and Music Plaza, and Music Plaza happened to send one that was like, win a bus. And I'm like, a bus? What do you mean by a bus? And then I saw it on their website, and I was just like, this is adorable. I don't want to waste time trying to win it. I just want to buy it, sell it to me. So I bought this on the Music Plaza website for those of you here in the United States. And this is a part of their BT21 promotions. There are BT21 toys. I think it's called BT21 Universe Star. But you can go on eBay, you can go on several other websites, but they sell what they call the blind boxes, where it's shaped like the van character, and inside is a random one of the characters from BT21, and the characters are, I think, about yay big, but they fit in the camper. So this is a picture of what the camper is supposed to look like when you unfold it. I wouldn't know because I have not opened this. And then this is kind of an artistic interpretation of all the fun that BT21 has when they're in their camper. Good times. So there's that picture right there. And then this is the front of the camper, which if you look very closely, you can see the van logo in the front, and the license plate says BT21. And then right here is the holographic sticker. Because, yes, BT21 shit is official, and they recognize that we want the holographic sticker on our official merchandise. So, yeah, this is really, really cool. And then this is the top. I don't know that that really looks like anything, but yeah, it's just really, really adorable, really, really cute. It's got a lot of detail to it. I like it quite a bit. And I don't think I'm going to open this unless I buy some of the Koya dolls to put in here, but I don't think I will. But this marks toy number 5 of BTS toys that I have purchased. So I have my RM doll that I just showed you. I have this bus. I have a Koya standing doll. I have a Koya cushion, and then I have the 7-person set of Funko Pops for BTS. So yeah, I have kind of a little toy box going on when it comes to BTS toys, which is it's very different. I didn't see that from my life a year ago. So yeah, this is fun. This is nice. I like this. And if you're interested, when I bought this was really pricey, you guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. This was not cheap, and the blind boxes are not cheap, which is why I don't know if I'm gonna get the blind boxes, because I've been seeing online the blind boxes sell for around $30, which is really high priced for this. And this bus alone was like $60 before shipping. It was $59.99. So yeah, this was not cheap at all. So I don't know necessarily that I'm gonna continue buying all the toys for this, but I just really thought this bus was super duper cute, and I liked the packaging, and I wanted it. So there you go. Yeah, BT21 stuff is expensive. It's really, really expensive. But that's what it takes in order to get the things you like. And then also, while we're talking about things I got in the mail, I got this, which is My Teens Fuzzle. And, oh, wow, Euphoria Prism. Glad to see you're out and about. You're in France now. That's awesome. Thank you. um, this is My Teen's Fuzzle. This is their second mini album. A long time ago, I bought My Teen Go. In fact, I bought My Teen Go before I knew that anybody from My Teen was going to be on Produce. Oh, Jamaica! Congratulations, JoJo World. Before I knew anybody was going to be on Produce, I bought My Teen Go because I liked their music. And this one, the lead single on here is She Bad. Really, really great song. And I liked Yuvin on Produce. I started to dislike him towards the end of the season, but during the course of the season, I liked him pretty much. And I loved Kukyeon. I thought he was so good, and I hated the fact that he deleted from the show way too soon. So I decided to buy this because I saw a listing for this on eBay for a very reasonable price. I want to say that this was like $15, but it includes the photo cards. So that's why I'm really excited about this. So the packaging is kind of interesting. It's got this cutout like a puzzle piece because it's fuzzle. Ha! And then on the inside, it looks like this here. It's got a little piece of plastic that helps to hold in all of the stuff on the other half of the box. It's been a long time since I've had an album that is a box, so really excited about that. Ooh, Park Jimin left JYP. I'm not surprised. I'm waiting for other people to leave JYP, but Park Jimin especially, she wasn't getting what she needed career-wise. Then this is kind of a ghosted puzzle piece right here, which you were able to see through the lid. So that's pretty awesome. And inside, lots of beautiful pictures of the boys from My Teen. There you go. So yeah, really, really nice. I think there's like 3 different concept photos in here. So well worth the money. It's a pretty thick little photo book for what you get. And then it comes with puzzle pieces. I don't think that I'll be collecting the puzzle pieces for this, but the one that I bought came with this set of puzzle pieces, which is the top half of something. So I guess if you get the other 2, then you can make a whole almost large photo card for this member. So that's really cool. This is Unsu. And then it came with this Yuvin photo card, which I thought was really cool because I liked him on Produce, so it was really cool to get his card. And it also came with these stickers with the names of all of the group members, plus it came with this CD right here. So yeah, this was a really good deal. Like I said, this was, I bought this used on eBay for like 15 bucks. So I really liked it. And it has been a long time since I bought box packaging. I have not bought box packaging in forever. So this was actually kind of nostalgic to open. I don't think that they'll be able to continue to do box packaging though, because box packaging is so expensive to manufacture and it's so heavy to ship. So, you know, if they decide not to go back to this, I understand, but I really, really like this. It's really quite nice. If you find yourself with the ability to buy this for less than $20, that's a steal because it is so incredibly heavy and it is really, really, really nice quality packaging. So everybody's giving their ats, which is hilarious. Kitty Cat says, I'm in mass. It's lonely here. I love My Teen. I really need to stop liking every K-pop group. Haha. I really wanted the Taemin puzzle, but yeah, I have no room to frame them, hang them up. Right? Who has the room? Who has the space? You know, you have to get a whole sheet just to put together the puzzle. So I totally get where you're coming from. But I'm looking forward to hearing more from My Teen. I feel like now that the public kind of is familiar with 2 of the members, they definitely have the potential to have a really amazing comeback and people being interested in it. I think though that they need to put Kukyeon first and maybe sit Yuvin back a little bit, because everything that happened with him and Suwon, I think, really colored people away from Yuvin. He was a favorite for a long time, and then when he was like, I'll do anything to get on your team, and then he turned around and was like, I want to be the main vocalist, a lot of people took that in a very negative way. So, and Jade, I'm right with you. I'm thinking about learning more about Victon. I have heard good things about Victon, but at the same time, Victon came out during a time period when a lot of boy groups were coming out, so it was very hard for me to pay attention. Same thing with Uptension. I feel like Uptension came out at the same time as like Romeo and Astro and a lot of other groups, SF9. Like there was a period of a couple of years there where I really wasn't involved with rookie groups for K-pop, and during that time I just didn't pay attention to a lot of people, and unfortunately for groups like Astro and Romeo and Uptension and Victon, because there was such a glut of groups, if you didn't hit with your very first release or your subsequent comeback, nobody kept following up on you. There was no excitement for every comeback you did after that. And so, yeah, I lost a lot of people along the way. But you know what? I'm a human being. And it's not my job to be all things K-pop involved. So, you know, I paid attention to the people that I've liked, I followed the people that I've been following, and I stayed in the game. But keeping up with the new groups is very, very hard. And I can't even imagine how much harder it is if you're a girl group fan, because it feels like there are literally 5 girl groups coming out every month. I still have no idea what the rest of Purple Beck sounds like. I think I've heard their song Crystal Ball. I think that's our song. But like, yeah, there's just groups coming out all the time. I have no idea. VAV is another group that I never really paid attention to. I think I mentioned SF9. I'm trying to think what other groups I haven't paid attention to. I don't know. There's just a lot. So, Yule says, I miss them so much. They have been a group for 2 years and only have 2 title tracks. Wow. Same for David. I should get into these new boy groups, but I love girl groups too much. And there's so many girl groups to love. Cutie Cat says, I always adore Victon and Uptension. I couldn't keep up, but now catching up. That's very true. I really love K&K and Bob, along with Oneness. I think it's Oneness. I always wonder if it's Oneness or Onus, but I think it's Oneness. Victon only has 4 minis and a single, so it's not a lot to catch up on. I think they also have some Japanese stuff, maybe. I only stand second generation boy groups, lol. I don't blame you. It's so hard to keep up with the new stuff. Sounds like Pristin, lol. I have not kept up with any of them. I understand. Well, you're busy. You're in France. With only 2 title tracks. Ah, damn. So yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to deal with when it comes to these groups. So I don't blame anybody for not being able to catch up, you know, but I admire the ones who can, especially when it comes to like knowing names. Oh my gosh, like I'm already bad with names when it comes to just real life people. Like when I meet people at my job, unless you bother me, I have a hard time remembering your name. So, you know, learning the names to all the members of all of these new groups is impossible. And I really feel bad for people like KT here on YouTube, who does a bunch of unboxings. Not Katie Boo, but KT, Key. Anyway, I feel bad for her because she does unboxings of a lot of groups that I have nothing to do with. And people are constantly like, how do you not know all the members? And it's like, bitch, how do you know all the members? Like, honestly, if you told me in order to collect K-pop, I had to know the names of every single member of every single group whose album I have, bitch, I would have like maybe 5 groups I collected, and that would be it. Because I just have no idea. I do not know. Also, it's really hard too because I didn't grow up with Korean as a language that I'm familiar with. So a lot of the names kind of run together for me. A lot of the Hyuns and Huns and Jungs and Jungs and Taes and Tas. A lot of it starts to run together for me. So yeah, I mean, it's a struggle to keep up. So, you know, just be glad that I'm giving them money. I'm doing the best I can here. So now that I've talked about all the things I've got K-pop wise, I guess we can get on to some drama. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my computer back on here so we can figure out what's going on with K-pop today. Let's see here. Let's go to Netizen Buzz. Good news there, right? Park Jimin will not be continuing her contract with JYP. That was put on Naver. which means that effectively 15 and has been disbanded, but 15 and only ever had one release, which I do have. So, I mean, 15 and has been disbanded. Like, if we're just being, 100 here, 15 and has not been a thing for many, many a moon. So let's see. Daenim Jihyo are dating. Kicho and Momo are allegedly dating. Feels bad for them, honestly. So, let's see. Now, this is interesting because this is not Jimin saying that she left JYP. It says JYP made the statement, we will not be renewing contract with Park Jimin. No decisions made on Baekhyun. No decisions made yet on Baekhyun. That is very telling. That is very telling because it sounds like JYP is trying to make it very clear that they are distancing themselves from both of these women. And I don't know if you guys remember a few years ago when Park Jimin was on After School and she's like, I need an album. I'm a singer. I need to sing. I'm a singer. I need to sing. So, yeah, I think JYP kind of was like, well, bitch, here's you a song and make do with what you can and then don't bother me no more. So, yeah. So, Lami says that I could see Jimin going to Amoeba Culture, to be honest. Maybe. Actually, I would really appreciate if she was to go to Brand New Music because Brand New Music is like really on the come up right now. For those of you that are caping for Amoeba Culture because it's one of the most famous, indie labels, Brand New Music has AB6 or AB6, I guess. And then we've got the one guy from X1 who is going to Brand New, and Sehun and a couple of other the Brand New trainees that auditioned for this season of Produce got pretty popular. So Brand New, they're changing their image. They're not just all indie stuff. They're branching into pop as well. And I feel like Jimin, she's a really good branch between the two. She should go to the Psy Company. Man, I'm so sick of people going to Psy's Company. I don't want to hear bullshit about that guy's company. And take it for what it is. I'm bitter because Crush went to Psy's Company. I get it, Crush. You don't want to be on Amoeba Culture anymore. Fine. Amoeba Culture is not for everybody. Zion T left Amoeba Culture. There's really not many people left on Amoeba Culture that I follow. There's Dynamic Duo and there is Primary. And I think that's it. But, okay. Could not should. But yeah, I don't think that Psy's Company was a good choice for Crush. I'm really pissed off about that. People are still hating on Psy right now, which is why none of his artists have released any music. Also, by the way, that is the tea. Why are we encouraging so many people to go to Psy's record label when we haven't heard a lick of music from anybody since they signed to Psy? Not a single solitary note. Not even a hum have we heard from anybody since they joined Psy's label. It's just like multiple dance practices with Hyuna and her boy toy, and then Jessie out here showing off her beautiful breast implants. So yeah, Psy's Company, I really could give a damn, and Crush is so talented. For him to go to Psy's label just really pisses me the hell off. Why couldn't he have signed to Club Eskimo? Why couldn't he have signed to fucking Just Music? Or why couldn't he have signed to AOMG? Like, anything else. Hell, why didn't you sign to Lowen? Honestly, if we're being really, really real about it, why didn't you sign to Lowen? That would have been amazing. It would have been perfect because I use on Lowen. So Lowen actually does know how to craft. Well, Club Eskimo used to be a thing. It used to be a thing. But yeah, I don't understand why he wouldn't have signed to Lowen. Because Lowen has a habit of really being able to cultivate artists who are like individuals. IU's already there, so he would be perfect for Lowen. Perfect for Lowen. But yeah, fucking Psy's Company. And in the middle of Psy's fucking scandal too. You talk about choices. That is a choice. Anywho, so comments from netizens. Let us see. It's already been years since they last promoted as a group because they never got along. I don't think they've even been in communication together. I still don't see why JYP took her at all. I don't understand. This combination is 1 plus 1 equals 0.5, a lose-lose combination. Park Jimin should have debuted solo with a focus on ballads. Just their music taste alone showed how much they didn't match. Park Jimin needed to have stuck to ballads that emphasized her vocals. Instead, they tried this and that and got lost. EHI is still doing well because she just has a voice for it. I find it high-key ironic that these people are comparing her to EHI when just 2 months ago when EHI's album came out, they were talking about how shitty she is and how she doesn't have any charisma and she can't perform well and that, YG has lousy artists and all this other bullshit. K-Netizens really are the fucking worst. I'm not saying Korean people. I'm saying specifically K-Netizens, y'all are the fucking worst. And then let's see. Now this is actually a really nice point here. Sometimes it seems the bigger agencies give you less opportunities. Chungha has been promoting all year long, it seems. I think that's a valid point. You go to an agency like JYP, which has an emphasis on pop music, popular culture, really trying to capitalize on being trendy, what the kids like, stuff like that. Artists like Baekhyun, Park Jimin, Baekhyun, a lot of these artists are so different than anything else on the label that, yeah, you do get lost because once you have a label that big, and especially a label with shareholders, it's about maximizing profits. And I don't think that the projects that Park Jimin have been involved with have been profitable. So yeah, I don't think it's a thing. Also, I'm not going to say that she should have stuck to ballads, but her most popular song was a ballad. And I think had she been on another label, she would have been very much kind of in the same camp as Ailee in terms of being known for her OST work and things like that. So that was definitely a missed opportunity for Park Jimin. I think doing After School was cool because it kept her in the faces of international fans, but it did nothing for her profile in Korea. So a lot of fault there. I can't find anything memorable about Park Jimin. Okay, here's somebody commenting about Baekhyun. Baekhyun's a good singer, but has poor character. Park Jimin is a good singer, but has a conservative personality. Either way, both aren't making any money, so no point in JYP keeping them. I don't know why they're saying that Baekhyun has a poor character. She does come across a little bit mean, in my opinion. A lot of her stage performances, I will say, it feels very much like she's an introvert because it seems like she's singing to herself. But yeah, Park Jimin has a conservative personality. Again, we all recall the I'm a singer, I need to sing. So, I don't see why they're saying she has a conservative personality as if that's a fault. Or if it's even true. I don't feel that way, but whatever. We'll see what happens. I wish her the very best. I really, really do. Even somebody in the comment section put the video of her saying, I need to sing. It's weird people comment how Baekhyun makes no money when her songs always do well. This last album did hotcakes in Korea. She has to have made some coin. Maybe. Who knows? We'll see. So we've talked about Park Jimin not getting her contract renewed. Next, it says, Im Sulong's SNS attacked with hate comments for setting up Kang Daniel and Jihyo. So, for those of you who don't know who Im Sulong is a member of 2AM. I don't think he's still signed with JYP anymore, but I'm not sure because all the members of 2AM, sorry. All the members of 2AM were signed to different companies. Actually, one of the members of 2AM, Changmin, he was signed to Big Hit. So, interesting. Very interesting. He's in a group called Home. But I think they broke up, they've left the label, whatever. But yeah, apparently Im Sulong is the Hubei who introduced Kang Daniel to Jihyo. And now people are like, you've ruined Kang Daniel, how dare you? My old pal was just getting famous and then you introduced him to that whore. You ruined him. How am I supposed to fantasize about our life together? How am I supposed to write all of my yaoi fan fiction if you've eliminated the dream and given him a real woman to love? Oh, the humanity. So yeah, they're heartbroken. It's absolutely a tragedy. But why are you attacking this poor guy? Like, what did he do? He was probably just like, hey, my dude, I know that chick. You want me to, like, say hi? Do you guys want me to, like, just, hook it up? Make sure you guys meet each other? Like, that's probably all. It literally was probably just like, listen, they've outlawed the Inkigayo sandwich. I will make the introductions. Let's go drinking sometime. That literally is probably the extent of his involvement. And all of a sudden it's like, you have ruined him. He was a young, innocent man. He came from nothing, and by his bootstraps, he pulled himself out of the 101 grave. He's been through so much. And now we're finally here. We've sold 500,000 copies of his debut single. And he ruined it all by having him meet a beautiful, successful, powerful woman with a career of her own and her own following. And who's actually more famous than he is. How could you? Come on, y'all. Seriously? Come on. This is so stupid. Okay, so let's see what the K-netizens have to say about this. Because I find netizen buzz to be hilarious. Okay, first comment sounds reasonable. Don't take your anger out on the wrong target. Kang Daniel's the one who wanted to get in contact with her. It's already funny enough that people are making such a big deal out of two adults being in a relationship, but to take that anger out on someone who's innocent is even more ridiculous. Agreed. Super sensible, and that comment has 1,293 pluses to 49 negatives. So hey, maybe K-nets are getting a little bit more open-minded about the dating thing. One person writes, wake up. Did you guys think he would ever date you then? Next says, oh, now this one has 50 pluses to 7 minuses. This one is kind of bad. Im Sulong deserves the hate. He claims to have watched over Ji-hyo since she was really young, and yet he introduced her to such a low-class guy. Kang Daniel may be enough for certain women, but Ji-hyo can do so much better than him. She's worked so hard on her career only for the first guy to date end up being some club goer. Woo! This person wants smoke. So just for a little background to let you guys know why K-netizens do not like Kang Daniel as much as they used to probably a year ago. Back when all the Seungri stuff happened, before Kang Daniel left his company to start his own company, a lot of people were saying that him and Seungri were pretty close. And then right before his lawsuit with his current company, everyone's like, this Hong Kong woman is his sponsor, and that's the reason why he's getting out of his contract. So Kang Daniel's character had already been a little bit damaged in the Korean public's eye before this. So yeah, for Ji-hyo, who really doesn't have much scandal when it comes to like her personal life or anything else like that, to be involved with someone who's already had a lot of speculation against him in the last year is not very great. Not really great. I still don't think that Im Sulong deserves the hate because, I mean, if his friend wants to meet a guy and he's like, okay, I'll help you meet this guy, it's not his responsibility to make sure that a grown woman doesn't make poor decisions. Like, that's not his fault. If she says, oh, your friend is cute, can you give me an introduction? Whatever happens after that, that's their business. So, maybe you can mind your own. Maybe. Another person saying that Kang Daniel's fans are babies. I agree. So, yeah, I'm just saying. I just don't think that he deserves the hate. I think people are right. Like, you're really picking on the wrong one here. The people who are dating should be the ones that get the problems. Okay, so everybody keeps talking about Momo and Hichul. I'm gonna see if there's any articles about that. There's none on Netizen Buzz right now, so no one on Netizen Buzz is talking about Hichul and Momo. So I'm not gonna be able to read you any commentary from that. So next we're gonna go to Sumpi, because I'll be damned if you have me reading all K-pop on this fucking channel. There's a lot of things I do, but I'm not talking about that fucking piece of trash. Garbage. Justice for Ali forever. Fuck all K-pop. Alright, let's keep going. So, the very biggest picture is JYP Entertainment denies Twice as Momo is dating Super Junior's Kim Hee-chul. JYP Entertainment has denied dating rumors between Twice as Momo and Super Junior's Kim Hee-chul. On August 6th, an insider representative reported that the two have been dating for 2 years. An industry representative, who could that be? In response to the reports, a source from SM Entertainment commented, "We are currently checking," while a source at JYP commented, "The reports are false." So let's put that on ice for now, because SM saying we don't know, and JYP is saying that's not true. Now, if Hichul is dating Momo, Hichul's already been to the military and out. So the fuck, like seriously, the fuck. Hichul is grown. Like, Hichul's in his 30s, grown. So if he wants to date, who is going to be mad at him for that? The only thing that I could see being a problem for Hichul when it comes to dating Momo is that Korea is very anti-Japanese. They always have been anti-Japanese, and for good reason, because of the Japanese occupation of Korea. But more so in recent years, there has been a lot of backlash against Japanese idols. Like, fucking Mina from Twice, the comments about her have been brutal. Like, people are like, just go back to Japan. Nobody needs you anyway. You're not even a popular member. So, like, it would be very controversial for Hichul to be dating Momo. It wouldn't be controversial. If this was Hichul and Jihyo, I promise you, no one would bat a fucking eye. Because they're like, finally, the man's dating. But Momo, big problems because she is Japanese. And Hichul needs to stay popular because his career with Super Junior is not what pays his bill. What pays his bill is Knowing Brothers and other variety appearances he does. And surprisingly enough, even though Hichul is like probably the most outspoken member of Super Junior that's still in the public eye, he has a really good reputation. Like, he's wild and crazy and does crazy things, but every program that he's been on in terms of variety and stuff like that has only increased his profile. So, like, at this point, he has a great reputation with the Korean public. And so, with that being said, it would be devastating for him to be caught dating Momo. For him. For her, it probably wouldn't affect anything because, again, she's Japanese and netizens are going to hate because they hate. So, yeah, it is. I could see this being definitely more of a dig for him than for her. And I could see why SM is like, hold up, wait a minute. Also, I don't recall anybody saying that Dispatch has photographs, so just saying, grain of salt. Okay. He also stated how his fans made him paranoid for his life and he doesn't like stalking. Yeah, apparently Hichul was on a show where he invited people to go into his house, and his house is like super clean. Like, it's just like sterile clean, his house is. Anyway, he was talking about like he always keeps his curtains closed. He never has his curtains open because of sasaengs. So yeah, I imagine like if he was going to date, he would be extremely careful because he's already very guarded about his privacy. So I don't even know when he and Momo would find the time to date, where they would date, how they would date. Like, it's just, it just seems like it'd be very difficult for him to make that happen. But also, like I said, it seems like he would be very protective of his privacy. So let's see. Since we kind of, I didn't skip over it necessarily, but I do think I need to talk a little bit more about the Kang Daniel thing, only because Kang Daniel wrote a letter about his dating. And I'm going to read his letter because I found his letter to be really off putting to me. Tell me what you think. So it says, "Hello, this is Kang Daniel. First of all, I'm really sorry to everyone who may have been very surprised when they saw the sudden news this morning. You may not have been able to focus on anything all day, and I'm worried over whether I'm writing to you too late. I'm very sorry because I couldn't say it beforehand, and also because I'm talking about this in a space that could overflow, even if it was just full of the words between all of you and myself. Truly a lot happened before I was able to stand on my own now. There are some really tiring times, but what helped me then was my fans. Rather than anything else, I want to tell you this. Even during the pain of the long period of no engagements, when you couldn't see me, and during the times that were difficult due to the speculative talk with malicious intent, you only looked at me. You endured a lot for me, and hid your frustration, and you held cafe events full of my photos, and put messages of support at subway stations, and I really thank you for that love and support that made me be able to stand up again. I gained an immeasurable amount of comfort and hope from all of you when I went to the cafes or subway stations and I saw your love with my own eyes, or when you set such surprising records that I couldn't even have imagined them when I was working on the album. I want to take care of the hearts of those fans, and it's both my role to try to do that and what I want to do. In order to carry out that role, I will become singer Kang Daniel, who always shows you a good image, which I've always considered to be the most important thing. I've received so much from fans, and I feel grateful. I will try to return more than that in the future. Tomorrow, I'll become Kang Daniel, who is better than today. I really, really thank you for being together with me." And scene. I hate that letter. I hate that letter. I don't know if you can tell how much I hate that letter. I hate that letter. I'll tell you why I hate that letter. Because this letter has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, close to 7 paragraphs, right? Out of the 7 paragraphs, only 2 address the dating scandal and offer any kind of apology. The rest of it is talking about, like, you guys are just so nice to me, and you do all the great things for me, and my pictures are everywhere, and you buy all my albums, and you make me feel so good when you do things for me. And I don't know, maybe I'm an old school apologist. When it comes to apologies, I don't want to hear about, like, all the sweet things I did for you. Don't want to hear that. I just want a straightforward apology. Like, just a straightforward apology. And this whole, I saw the pictures you put up of me and they made me feel good. Thank you for waiting for me when I couldn't go on television. Thank you for buying 500,000 copies of my album. I don't want to hear all that bullshit. I want just the straight up apology. Like, seriously, honestly, he could have deleted 2 of these paragraphs and that would have been it. All this stuff about all the shit you did for me, like, this is some shit that, like, a manipulative boyfriend would do. Like, baby, I know I cheated, and I'm wrong because you've always been a good woman. You've always treated me so good. You've always been so kind. You paid the rent when you knew I didn't have a job. You paid for the condoms when you knew I didn't have money. And yes, I did use them on that other woman, but that's because I was looking out for us. I didn't want to bring home venereal disease. And you just always washed my clothes and made sure my drawers were clean. And you put gas in your car so I could drive around town. And I can't thank you enough for doing this. And in the future, I'm going to make sure I can earn your love and also earn my spending money that you give me that I use when I go out on my dates with my other girls. Like, seriously, like, that's what it sounds like to me. It literally sounds like a guy who got caught cheating on his girl and was like, you did all these nice things for me, and I just want you to know that I don't take that shit for granted. Yeah, you did catch me out there doing what I do, but at the same time, I'm just saying, you know, I love you, baby. Like it's so, this letter is ridiculous. But now I'm going to give you my controversial opinion because I'm telling you this now as an international fan. A lot of y'all are going to agree with me. You're not going to see it my way. And you know what? It is what it is. But he should not have begun dating Jihyo. I get it. She's beautiful. He might have thought, I'll never have another chance like this again. I've got to take my chance while I can and, get my girl. I get that. I'm not saying that you can't. I'm just saying now is not the time. Like, seriously, now is not the time. You really should have waited at least 2 years. And there's a lot of you who are going to say, but why? What's wrong with dating? I'll tell you what's wrong. He's an idol in Korea. That's what's wrong. Everybody talks about how, it's not fair because he's a grown up and she's a grown up and why can't young people do young people things? Think about all of the people who would give their eye teeth to be in his position, because let's just be super honest. Kang Daniel's single is mediocre at best. It is not great. It is not amazing. His hype from 101 carried him into the position that he's in. At the very minimum, he should be working his hardest to make sure that he has everything clean for the next couple of years and then slowly get people used to the idea of him dating. Because, first of all, he's coming off of affiliations between him and Seungri, which were put out there before he threatened to leave his record label. So for those of you saying, oh, his old record label is the one who put those rumors out there, that's not true. Look at the timeline. His record label is the one out there defending and putting out publicity statements saying that they had nothing to do with each other. But he's already getting over that. Then he's got him getting away from his company and people kind of being on his side and be like, okay, we sympathize for him. Now you've got to get through all of the rigmarole that has to do with you putting out your album, trying to get back on TV and Variety and things like that because people have kind of been afraid to touch you. Like, you have so much going on just in your career in general. Do you really want to put dating on top of that? I mean, if it's sex you're looking for, sex can be purchased. We've seen it before. So I don't understand. He's his own company. So I don't understand why in the midst of the bad Seungri PR, in the midst of trying to establish your own company and get back out there and keep jumpstarting your career, why you would feel like, and this is the time that I would take the risk of getting caught in a dating scandal. Because he got caught in a dating scandal because Dispatch had photos. He didn't get caught because of a rumor. He got caught because Dispatch had photos. Being one of the most popular celebrities in all of Korea, which he was at this time, he had to have known the paparazzi's looking for me. They want to see me fail. They want to see me do bad. So maybe I need to chill the fuck out and not be out here in these streets whiling. And so a lot of you are not going to agree with my opinion, and that's fine. Downvote it if you want to. We all live our lives and have our experiences. But knowing how Korean netizens feel, knowing how fangirls feel, why would you take the risk of possibly ruining the goodwill that you've worked so hard to rebuild by having a fucking dating scandal? And at the very minimum, if you're going to date a non-celebrity. That's the other thing too. Honest to goodness, if he had dated a non-celebrity, no one would have caught him. But of course, Jihyo from Twice, one of the most recognizable women in Korea because all of Twice members are super duper famous. Why pick her? I get it. You're like, she's fine, she's beautiful, she's a dream woman. Understand. But you're not fixing to get married. Kang Daniel and Jihyo from Twice are not about to get married. That's not happening. It ain't happening. Y'all are dating, and you might date for a while, but y'all aren't gonna get married. So, again, why now do this? if you really like this girl, like if you're like, it's not about fucking to me, it's about having a real relationship, I really see my future in this woman, then talk to her and say, hey, I really, really like you. Like, I see something for us. But I'm in a really precarious situation right now. I've got some things going on in my life. You can just pick up the newspaper, open up Neighbor, whatever you want. You can see what's going on in my life. Give me a minute to calm things down. And once I calm this shit down, you and I can revisit this. He didn't do that. You know? And that's the thing that throws me off about this, because I don't have concerns about Kang Danielle is not even on my radar when it comes to like celebrities I follow and stuff like that. But yeah, like I just would have been like, I really like you, but the timing is awful. So can we like just stay in touch, be friends, continue to get to know each other on a friendly level, but maybe not date right now because I've got things going on that I really have to be focused on before I can devote myself to you, before I can get the public to understand you. Also, yeah, almost forgot. He had a dating scandal with fucking Yuk Jidam from Unpretty Rap Star. So this is not even like his first dating scandal. So let's talk about bad PR. Dating scandal with Yuk Jidam, which everyone took out on her. Fucking affiliation with Sungri, which everybody's like, ew, Sungri, gross, how dare you? You're probably out here sharing mulkas as well. Your company and the whole Hong Kong woman seducing, whatever the fuck is going on there. All of this stuff you put together, and on top of that, you want to throw dating one of the most popular pop stars in the country. Get the whole fuck out of here. Get the whole fuck out of here. So, yes, international fans, I want you to know, I understand where you're coming from when you say idols should be allowed to date. They should be allowed to live their private lives the way they want to. They should not be kept from living the way that normal young people look. I get that. But the rewards affiliated with what he's doing require a bit of sacrifice. Let's just call it what it is. You don't gain millions of dollars in endorsements, record sales, TV appearances, all of these great opportunities without giving up something. And for most celebrities, it's privacy you give up. That's the exchange. You no longer belong to yourself, you belong to the world. And you ask for that because you're asking for the reward. So when you say he should be allowed to have what everybody else has, well, we're not all allowed to have everything that he has. This is not an even swap. You know? You don't have access to the millions of resources that Kang Danielle has as a regular person. But he has access to that in exchange for keeping an unspoken covenant with the rest of you that at the very minimum, he'll keep his nose clean until he's gained enough reputation to dip his toes into the pool. A prime example of somebody who did not have a dating scandal because they earned their spot, Taeyang from Big Bang. Even though it's hard to talk about Big Bang nowadays, when it came out that him and his girlfriend were dating, no one had anything to say about it because he had earned his spot by then. There are ways to do this the right way. He's doing this the wrong way. So that's my opinion. I'm going to go back and read some comments because I was busy going on a rant. So let me go back and see what everybody's saying. Let's see here. So let's going back here. We're talking about the letter. That it sounds like soap opera. I agree. He just started his solo career, should have either kept it on the down low or held out. I can't blame him because she helped him a lot. It was so random, honestly, but agreed. This is why we need dating bans. How did she help him? That is hilariously accurate and it's kind of sad. I see where you're going and I can agree. He just got his own company, right? So how can he focus on that and date right away? I can see your point. Just like everyone else, he just started his solo career. I do think the hype has died down for Daniel, and this won't help. So true. Not gonna say it, but like I hope he ain't got something up his sleeve with this. He has his priorities all mixed up. I believe this started in the beginning of 2019, which at the beginning of 2019, the Sungri stuff had not popped off for them. So maybe he thought it was going to be cool. But even then, he could have been like, hey, baby, I'm involved in some shit right now. Can we take a break so I can handle this? Just saying. Exactly, Danielle could have dated a non-celebrity. If he had dated a non-celebrity, her going in and out of his home, nobody would have cared about. That's the thing, like in Korea, people can tell a celebrity by their body line, not by their face or by their hair, literally by like their shoulders and their legs. They can tell a person is a celebrity. So if a non-celebrity girl is seen coming in and out of his house, if she's wearing different wigs, wearing different clothes, no one would ever know that was his girlfriend because people wouldn't recognize her body. But Jihyo, people are gonna recognize her body and the fact that she's fucking pulling up in a Benzo. Like she's pulling up in the Audi, the BMW, like she's pulling up in these massively expensive vehicles. You know, a regular bitch is gonna show up in a Kia Rio and nobody's gonna say shit about it because they're like, oh well, it must be like one of the makeup ladies or maybe one of the Cordanunas, and no one would be the wiser. No one would be the wiser. Now thinking about it just really gives me bad vibes, but I will let them be happy if they are. I just hope this doesn't downfall hard for her. I hope so too. You know, a lot of people have been talking about how she lost a little weight. She had a little more pep in her step, was getting a little bit sexier. Maybe it's because she had a man. You know, work for Jenny. Oh, don't forget the drama. He got caught up with Yuk Ji-dam. This is scary. As long as he's not using Jihyo to improve his image. Dang, I didn't think that this dating news would take such a potentially dark turn in thoughts. With everything that she is saying, and now we have Jihyo, even though she has been supporting him, what if she is involved in these scandals as well? Or gets dragged into it. Oh, I hope not. I hope they don't start dragging her into this stuff. From what I can tell so far, it seems like K-netizens are way more upset with him than they are with her. And the overall consensus is that she's already been in the industry for 5 years. And because she's been in the industry for 5 years, people feel like she's earned the right to be able to date at this point. Whereas he is still kind of a nugu in terms of popularity because Wanna One did a 2-year stint. And then after that, he really didn't do anything. So he's establishing himself for the first time on his own terms. And for that reason, a lot of people are like, you are a rookie. This is not what rookies do. This could lead to a lot of trouble for her and Twice. I hadn't thought about it, this perspective, but now I'm like, wow. GD can't relate though. I wouldn't be surprised if they broke up next month. Also, I think Twice fans are older. Absolutely, Twice fans are older. They understand the girls are getting older. You know, they're ready for this. You know, once you have a fandom that's kind of grown up with you and they're in the time of the life when they're ready to date too, then usually they're okay with it. But Kang Daniel was the #1 nation center for Wanna One, an incredibly popular group. He comes out of Wanna One. People are anticipating that he's going to have activities, and initially he doesn't have any activities. So they're like, what the hell's going on? Then there's all this connection with, you know, the dating scandal with Yuk Ji-dam and the affiliation with Sungri, and then suddenly it's him and his record label getting into it, and it's just like, timing is everything. Also, Twice fans have a large amount of male fans, and average men tend to be less obsessive over things like that. True, Kang Daniel has a female fan base for the most part, and female fan bases tend to be way more possessive about their idols than male fan bases tend to be. So yeah, they're probably like, what the fuck is this? I just bought like 15 copies of your album. Opar, what are you doing? So yeah, that's the thing. That's good. I just hope she is truly making the right choices and understands the issue that is at hand with everything. I hope that she understands. I thought about that recently. I'm like, you know, when it comes to idols dating, it seems to me like JYP artists, when you find out they're dating, they've like been dating forever, just recently broke up, or they've been dating forever and they're expecting their first child because they got married last week. Like usually when it comes to JYP, we find out dating stuff so much later. Hello, Sophia. So yeah, like normally when it comes to the dating scandals, JYP just doesn't have the same kind of dating scandals that other people have. So this is surprising. This is out of the norm for JYP for sure. Like, really for sure. Like, oh my gosh. When I found out that Min and Jisoo had been dating, I think they had both left the label by that point. Like, it was so crazy. And they broke up. They're not together no more. But it's just, yeah, this is not typical behavior for JYP artists. And, every record label, their artists have a certain reputation. Like, part of the reason why people are hating on YG artists so heavy right now is because of the past that their idols have had. Now people say that's the culture at that record label. So like SM artists, there is a culture at SM. There is a culture at JYP. Even the way that JYP artists sound, that is a part of their culture. So, I mean, that's the reason why it's like, this is very weird, because this is not the way things happen at JYP. Like, when it's just like somebody said about Sunny from the Wonder Girls. We found out she was getting married as she was getting married. That bitch kept her lips completely sealed. I shouldn't be calling her a bitch. That's not nice, because she's not a bitch. But still, I feel bad that she left the Wonder Girls. But saying all that to say, like, they had been around for a while. When she finally made that move to get married, it was like, yeah, I'm getting married. No dating scandal, nothing. Like, I'm getting married. I'm getting married tomorrow. Watch me get married. So that's kind of how that went. I'm trying to think if there's any other K-pop news we need to be discussing that we haven't discussed. Just checking to see. Okay, so it says, everyone on Twitter right now is saying that JYP took back the denial of Heechul and Momo. It is spamming. I don't know if this is all K-pop info or not right now. I don't know, because like things happen so fast in this K-pop world. Things happen so incredibly fast. I'm not seeing anything right now. And all K-pop, like I said, you'll never hear me quote all K-pop. I refuse. Oh, let's talk about SM mismanagement. That's a good thing to talk about. We'll talk about that. Okay, I don't know who this kid is, but Starship confirms that Lee Guanyan has left the agency. Was he on Produce? If he wasn't one of the people I followed on Produce, so I don't know. Yeah, he was on Produce season 2. Okay. Well, it is what it is. SM. I can't really talk about the NCT China Line mistreatment because there's so many things going on with that. I haven't been able to keep up with it, and also I'm not an NCT's I don't know how to pronounce their fandom's name. I'm sorry. My mind hurts now. I can't even think. Anyway, not a big fan. But SM, the company. Let's talk in citizens. That is, I don't like that, but it is what it is. In citizens. SM has experienced some problems when it comes to their stock. So SM, I talked about this on my channel probably a couple of months ago. It was discovered, I guess, that SM had a company that they were paying 46% of their profits to. And it was a company that was owned by Lee Soo-man, who is the former CEO, current chairperson of SM, founder of SM, if you will. And the stockholders were really upset because SM has not paid a dividend since they went public, have never paid a dividend, and have always been like, that's because we're reinvesting the money into the company. But it turns out they weren't reinvesting the money into the company, they actually were giving it to Lee Soo-man. So, and apparently it is legal. what they claim is that they pay the money to Isuman's company for work that Isuman's company, production work that Isuman's company does for SM artists. And if you were to pull up any SM album, it's gonna say Isuman as executive producer. In fact, give me just a minute. I'm gonna go find a recent SM album. I'm gonna get talk amongst yourself. I'm gonna go find 3 SM albums to see if Isuman is listed as executive producer. So hold on. Let's see here. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, so I'm embarrassed because I realize I don't have very many recent SM albums, which is crazy because I'm usually SM trash. But yeah, when it comes to recent albums, I don't have that many. But I have this one right here, which is Red Velvet's Revelove Festival. Highly disappointing mini album. Terrible title song. I said what I said. So I'm going to get out the booklet right here that talks about the production credits. I'm looking here. Producer, Suman E. So hopefully you can see that. It should be in big letters. It is right here in the crease underneath there. So I don't know if you can see it very well. Maybe not. But it says producer, Suman E. Isuman. So that's one that is a recent album that says Isuman. Now we have NCT's Superhuman album, We Are Superhuman. And let's see here if it says the same thing. Yes, it says right at the top, producer, Suman E. Yes, this will be up. You'll be able to watch this later. So, have a good night. And then, let's see here. Here, this is EXO's Tempo, because I don't have the repackaged Love Shot. And at the very top of this, it says, hopefully you can see it, producer Suman E. So, recent SM albums say Suman E as producer. Every SM album says Isuman as the producer. So this is how they establish that he gets paid his 46% for production that he does for SM albums. So with that being said, stockholders are saying, we want to see money. We don't want any more of this double talk or anything else. We want to see money. Give us money. So because SM, much like YG, is kind of a shell company, quit it. You know I hate that song, Jade. Because YG and SM are very similar in terms of them being shell companies for the main person that are running them, Isuman said, you're not going to stop paying me. I refuse to allow you to quit paying me the money that I deserve to be paid for founding SM. Instead, you need to find a way to cut costs so that you can give money to these stockholders rather than reducing the amount of money you give to me. And because of that, they are talking about closing the Artium, which is ridiculous. First of all, the COEX Artium is a huge tourist spot. Like when people come to Korea, especially if they come to Korea because they've heard about K-pop, that is one of the main places that people go. Like people go by the YG building that's shaped like the Y. People go to the different like Starship, Cube, all these buildings, they take photographs. But SM COEX Artium is one of the few places that people go where they actually can go to the museum and they can go to the cafe and they can buy merch, you know, all these things. Well, SM is claiming that their food production line is a losing profit point, so they're going to cancel that. The coax RDM is expensive to maintain, which is the reason why they're planning on closing it. Not because it doesn't make money, but because it's expensive to maintain, so the profit margin is thin. And then they're going to refocus their efforts on like actors and singers and stuff like that. And the shareholders still aren't happy. Like the shareholders still like, this is fucked up. We don't like this. We want money. So yeah, a lot of problems with that. Now, I saw a few comments saying, Wavy is not being promoted in China. It's a big problem. I will say this. I'm not an in-citizen. Anyway, I'm not one. But I found it very weird how hard it was to get Wavy albums. Like a lot of the friends that I have were like, I want to buy the new Wavy album. I really love the China line. I want to support them. It's got all my favorite people, Tin, Wen, Lucas, all the ones. I want to buy it. And I did not see a single regular K-pop shop that was selling it. Like it wasn't on Choice Music, it wasn't on K-Town For You. I don't even remember seeing where you could buy it from Yes Asia, which is very strange. So like it was very, very hard to find that album, and that's not typical. Normally with Chinese units, they make a Korean press. This did not happen. And so questions, why is this what happened? What the hell's going on here? So that's one thing. Then you have to keep in mind there's still some issues with the Hallyu ban in China. It hasn't completely gone away, which is why even though BTS is doing world tours, they're not touring China. They could. They would make a ton of money, but probably the red tape involved made it to where it just isn't a thing. So they're not going there. And I think that is another problem, is that SM, through all of the issues with the Hallyu ban, have lost their contacts in China. Also, with kind of all the stuff that happened with Chris, Luhan, and Tao, I think that the Chinese public doesn't have like the nicest opinion about SM, because for those of you who aren't aware, Tao, Luhan, I don't know why I'm mentioning Tao because he's probably the least popular, but like Luhan, Chris, Lay are mega popular. Mega popular in China. And a lot of people took their side when it came to their beef with SM. And because of that, even though Lay didn't really have a beef, but like the other three, definitely a beef. Because of that, a lot of people aren't looking at SM positively. And so that has been an issue. That has been a real issue. So yeah, that's something to consider when you consider about why Wavy is maybe not being promoted as well. And BTS going to Hong Kong and Macau is not the same as going to China. For those of you who have been watching the news lately and seen the protest in Hong Kong, there's like this weird thing. I don't know how to describe it. Okay, so Hong Kong, Taiwan, I think too, were once owned by the British or the United Kingdom, and they made an agreement in either the either the 80s or the 90s to give those countries back to China. But there was supposed to be like a 50-year moratorium where they would like be their own and then go back. And so I understand but just for people who don't know. So because of that, a lot of acts will tour like the not mainland China, but won't go into mainland because of issues with the Chinese government. So with all that being said, no, you're not getting as many of these K-pop acts touring mainland China. It's just not happening because of the political issues that are underlying everything. So just keep that in mind. But let's see, there was a comment here that I missed. They're under Chinese company, that's it. NCT is going to debut everywhere in the world. Next group is Vietnam. It's world domination thing. Read up. I was trying to explain this I got called a racist. Okay, I'm not sure why you're called a racist, but let me tell you something. NCT is not going to take over the world. They're not going to take over the world. And part of that is because while I'm talking about why it is they're not being promoted in China, the other part of it is that SM is fucking racist as shit. SM has always been racist as shit. And it's not going to happen. I know that there is a group that is being promoted slash built in Vietnam. I remember reading about that actually. But it's not going to be what they said neoculture technology was supposed to be initially. When SM first came out with neoculture technology, it was every region was going to get a group. And the group was going to consist of boys from that region, and they were going to do similar songs that were kind of like different regions would have like very similar songs, and it was supposed to be kind of a unified front, almost like the AKB system, but a worldwide AKB system. But look at what NCT Japan is. It's a bunch of Korean people. Look at the NCT that debuted in America. A bunch of Korean people. And not saying that I'm not racist against Korean people, but I'm saying all that to say the promise that the groups that appear regionally would be made of regional people has not been kept. So SM probably will use Vietnamese boys to be in their Vietnamese group, because I doubt a lot of Korean people are studying Vietnamese so that they can debut in Vietnam. And Vietnamese is a very hard language to learn if you didn't grow up with it. So yeah, I doubt they're going to use their Korean trainees to debut in Vietnam. But their Korean trainees are very well versed in Japanese. It's always been a part of SM's training regime to introduce Japanese. So that's the reason why their Korean idols are a part of their NCT Japanese unit, because that's just a part of the SM system. And initially, SM was trying to do the same thing with China before the Hallyu ban. That's the reason why there's a Super Junior M. They were trying to get their feet into the Japanese market, or the Chinese market. So they were starting to have Super Junior M, EXO M. That was the whole thing. Then the Hallyu ban came around and it became harder to promote EXO M. Not only that, but they were still kind of like focused on their bread and butter, which was Korea, because they hadn't proven that they could be hugely popular with their act in China. So while EXO-M was a thing where they're like, can we sell albums to start with? Then we'll work on variety and other stuff. They were kind of like a backup slash support group for the main EXO-K that they had. And so, you know, SM just has a long history all the way back to Hangang, and oh gosh, that one lady who I cannot remember her name, but there's another lady that's been on SM forever who's Chinese. I think her name is Zhang something. It's Zhang something. Can't remember completely. But anyway, SM has a long history of mistreating their Chinese trainees, their Chinese idols. So it's racism against Chinese people. It is the Hallyu ban. It is SM not really fulfilling their whole AKB domination thing. There's a lot of factors going into it, but at the end of the day, I wish SM would just leave the Chinese thing alone if they're not going to commit to it. Like, I really wish SM would have their own division in China that just deals with Chinese things. Because honestly, what SM should be doing more than anything is farming out their trainee system. I've read several articles about Chinese trainees and about how netizens are like, they come over to Korea and they steal all of our training techniques and then they go back home and they make millions of dollars. Fuck yeah, they do. So if the Chinese trainees are coming to Korea to learn how to be idols because the system is so effective, why is SM wasting their fucking time trying to train idols in Korea to go to China and do stuff and risking contract breaks and all this other legal shit that they have to defend and spend money on, instead of just finding the most popular entertainment company in China and saying, let's do a legal 30-70 split, we will train your idols and then you promote them. Like, that to me makes the most sense. Instead of trying to train them yourself, farm out your training system. Agree to become like the idol university, if you will. So like, we start schools in China for young people to enroll in, to begin to learn how to be idols. Then we work with entertainment companies to find foreign producers to produce songs for people who are trying to be idols. Then you turn around and you say, not only that, but we'll provide an in-house service for you. We'll train your graphic designers, we'll train your coordinators, we'll train people to bring our product to China for you to package and sell to your community. Give us 30%. And if SM was to do that, they would make so much fucking money. Just think of the money that SM makes off of their itty bitty bit of royalties they get off of Chris and Luhan and Tao. Because part of the whole contract thing when those guys left SM is that SM gets, like, I want to say 10% of the money that Chris and Luhan and Tao get. It's a small percentage, but it's a percentage nonetheless. But that was the way that they were able to kind of like break the contract, is that for a set number of years, SM gets some of that money. Imagine if SM had been smart and struck a real contract / business relationship with a Chinese company and then collected a solid 30 or 40%. How much money that would be. It would make running SM Korea seem like fucking peanuts, because they would make so much motherfucking money. But they don't do that because they're stupid. Because SM doesn't like money, apparently. So that's why I say, like, SM needs help. They need me. They really do need me. And so, yeah, that is what it is. Now I'm going to talk about the supergroup. So let me go ahead and find the article about the supergroup, because everyone is very, very concerned about it, and I want to make sure I say it right. So hold on while I pull that up. Choo, 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 choo. I'm finding the article, guys. Take your time. I'll be right with you. Okay. So, according to this article, it says, SM reportedly launching collab boy group with members of SHINee, EXO, and NCT. SM Entertainment has shared a statement regarding reports of a collaboration group featuring Taemin, Kai, Baekhyun, Taehyung, Mark, Lucas, and Ten. In response to the reports, SM Entertainment commented, an official announcement will be made August the 8th. So, not a denial, because it's saying official announcement. SM is reportedly launching a major boy group, including members of their current groups. All right, it says, according to the reports, this group is not a unit project, but an actual group with potential to continue making comebacks following their debut. The members' main groups will still be prioritized, however, so this new group will not affect their original groups. Stay tuned for a response. So that part of the news is the most controversial part of it all, because SM has done these kind of collaborative groups before. Back in the old days, it was like the different various SM Town releases, the SM Family albums, and then the most recent that I can remember is the Unique Unit, which was Taemin, Kai, I think it was Eunhyuk, and Yuno, and Hyoyeon from SNSD. But anyway, I remember Unique Unit. You can look it up on the internet, Unique Unit. Also, if you ever find a Unique album for less than $100, holla at your girl, because them bitches is super hard to find. Very, very pricey. I think you can only get the booklet if you like bought a car, something crazy like that. So just saying. No, Luhan is not in this. Not, oh yes, Luhan was in Unique. Thank you. I thought you were talking about this new unit. I'm like, but Luhan doesn't do anything with SM anymore. Anyway, got you. Long story short, SM has done these special collaborations before. The fact that the reports are saying that this is a new group, that is troubling. That is troubling for a number of reasons. And more troubling than anything, it is because of who they have in this group. And for me, especially as a Shawwal, having Taemin in this group is problems for me. Now, if this was just, a special project, a one-off thing, I'd be like, fuck it, let's do it. Sounds like fun. But expecting Taemin to promote as a member of SHINee once the rest of SHINee comes home, expecting him to promote solo in 2 countries because he's promoting in Japan and in Korea, and then to be a part of a 3rd group that he's supposed to do regular comebacks with, that's bullshit. That's too much for one person. That is way, way too much. I get it that SHINee is not as active as they used to be. EXO is not as active as they used to be. But Kai might have aspirations for solohood. We don't know. Baekhyun has had a solo. He might want to do more. We don't know. Taehyung is mad busy with NCT. Both him and Mark. Fucking Mark. Mark hasn't had a vacation since he was in the 5th grade. So it is just like, why pick these people that are so incredibly busy to do this project? It would make more sense if you were picking people who don't have shit to do. Like, if it was like random members of Super Junior and Kangta, then it'd be like, okay, well, y'all don't have shit to do. Go ahead and do a unit. But like, Mark literally has not had a vacation since he was in the 5th grade. Not since he came back to Korea. So that poor baby needs a break. He needs a break. And it's just, yeah, all of this just seems ridiculous to me. So I'm hoping that August 8th, SM is going to say that this is a specialty and it's not meant to be long term, and that's the way they'll keep it. I really sincerely hope that they're not going to follow through with saying that this is a debut group. Number one, because the public doesn't even seem like they really want this, to be honest with you. And two, like I said, just you have some people in here who are incredibly, that are incredibly hardworking. They're in the midst of a lot of stuff of their own. They need a break. This is not for them. So, I encourage SM to do the right thing, but we are talking about SM. They're probably going to do the wrong thing, so, fuck it. We'll just see what it is. But I don't like this. I don't like this. I do not like this. I want to hear the music. Don't get me wrong. I want to hear the music, but I don't like the idea of people who work so hard being involved in this. But I also want to say this very clearly. Fuck those of you who are passing around the fucking hashtag that displays so much hate for these people. It's one thing to be mad at SM. It's one thing to think that this group is a bad idea because everyone's going to be overworked. It is quite another to shitpost on any of the idols involved, because at the end of the day, they work for SM. SM doesn't work for them. A lot of them probably are still maintaining the parameters of their contracts with SM. They're probably still got money they need to pay back. At least the NCT members still got money they need to pay back to SM. So to hate on the artist for something that's not even their fucking fault, you should be ashamed of yourselves. You really should be ashamed of yourselves. So I really hope that you will leave them alone, because it's not fair and it's not right. Let's just see what it is, and if we notice that our idols are being mistreated, we need to be very vocal about that. But outside of that, keep your fucking business to yourself. How about them apples? So that's the other hot topic of conversation that we needed to talk about. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we need to be talking about. Oh, SM has SM. Taman has an Instagram account. You should check it out. He does makeupless selfies. It's very lovely. I love him. Uh, I will support them though if it is. I won't their over hard work go to waste and make them fail because of selfish reasons we can control, and true it is mistreatment, I'll voice it. Exactly. You know, we have to realize what our role is and how we can manipulate these companies. And so, any thoughts on Big Hit acquiring smaller companies with existing groups? I think it's amazing. I think it's great. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. In fact, you know what? Park Jimin ought to go over to Big Hit. That'd be wonderful. That'd be really, really awesome. You know, I mean, they got this new lady that they hired out from underneath SM who's supposed to be in charge of their girl groups that they're thinking about doing. So, yeah, send Park Jimin her way. Maybe they can make something happen. That'd be kind of cool, you know. But, yeah, I think that it's great that they're buying some smaller companies to help flesh out their operations and make it to where they're not a one-trick pony, because there was a lot of attention on TXT when they debuted. And then after they debuted, I feel like no one really talks about them that much anymore. Like, there are people who are like serious fans of TXT and they talk about them quite a bit, but for the most part, most people are concentrating on BTS. Like, even when BTS is not promoting actively, there's a lot of chatter and like just talk about them anyway throughout the whole time. That's not the same thing with TXT. And a lot of Koreans are looking at TXT as not being a successful debut. Even though they had great sales and lots of attention, people are saying the fact that they haven't been able to maintain attention is a problem. So for Big Hit to say we want to acquire some smaller companies and maybe do some other things, that's really great. Because just like I was excited for TXT to take some of the pressure off of BTS, I think it'd be great to have a group like GFriend, who is a girl group, which means no one has to go to the military, be a part of Big Hit, and using the income from GFriend to help fund some things while members of BTS have to go to the military. Also, I think that it's amazing to have the producers and the masterminds behind some of these groups coming into the Big Hit fold, because they can offer new ideas and, you know, maybe some new tactics. Because to be honest with you, the people that are currently at Big Hit are kind of fucking things up for me. First of all, yeah, I think that maybe Big Hit is doing a lot to sell BTS, and some of the stuff that they're coming up with isn't completely thought out all the way. The game, the Weverse stuff, like they need some help. They need some help. I think the reason why they're so aggressive about marketing BTS is because it's like an ATM machine. You just got to put it out there and the money comes rolling in. But having some other groups out there, I think it's really going to help people to kind of be like, okay, maybe instead of having to get all the money we can from BTS, maybe now we can, you know, invest some time into putting the best products out under BTS's name. So let's see here. The comment said, the hate that armies are having towards GFriend, saying that they're going to ruin their image. Those are some very vocal armies. It's not all armies, and most K-netizens have really exciting words for it. Like, a lot of K-netizens are like, we're glad to see they acquired GFriend. GFriend has amazing choreo, so it makes sense that they would be under Big Hit. And, you know, a lot of people have been very, very happy about the fact that they are having GFriend join Big Hit. So I wouldn't say all. It's a certain population for sure. Some of the more fanatical, the more extreme, the less reasonable fans are saying some horrible things. But for the most part, most people are very happy with this. Very, very happy with this. So I want to make sure that we put that out there. Very, very happy with it. Also, I guess Big Hit is saying they're planning on buying another company that has a popular boy group. I have no idea what company that could be. Like I've been racking my brain about it, trying to figure out what company that could be. And I'm like, are they gonna buy KQ Entertainment because ATEEZ is there? Like, I really couldn't think of another boy group where they would be buying the record label without like a huge amount of expense. So I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know if it would be a good thing for them to acquire KQ though, because like they're not going to buy Cube because Cube is owned mostly by a Chinese company. If they bought Jellyfish, that could be interesting because VIX is popular. So yeah, they could buy Jellyfish. I don't see Big Hit buying Starfish or Starship. I feel like Monsta X, I don't see a company being able to sustain two groups like Monsta X and BTS. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't see it. Top Media, that's saying that there's a top boy group, and the only boy groups on Top Media that I can remember are Uptension and Teen Top. So that's kind of weird. Pledis, I don't see them buying Pledis. Maybe. Pledis could be an option. Pledis probably could use the help. 17, has a fan base. I could see Pledis. I definitely could. New East is there. So, yeah. Pledis. Yeah, I could see it. I definitely could see it. I could see it on Pledis. I'll take it. Somebody was talking about ITZY. ITZY is pretty popular in Korea from all the worker groups right now. Is there any company that has more than one label under them? Oh yeah, a lot of companies have more than one label under them. I think Million Market is under SM right now, and Big Hit for a while was kind of a sub of JYP because I want to say that that's the reason why there were members of 2AM that were on JYP. So that makes sense. Pledis doesn't need help with girl groups. Pledis needs to never have a girl group ever again. That's what they need. I don't think that they would buy BBC and Polaris. I don't think it's going to be that either. Because I don't think Polaris has a big boy group, and BBC just has the one group, so I don't know. I don't know why Fancy Child is doing the most. They're a mess. They're fools. But anyway, so yeah, that's how I feel about the merger. I think it's not going to be a bad thing for anybody. I think it's actually going to be pretty good. I look forward to it. I think great things could happen. But I think any way that they can diversify their income and give them a chance to kind of concentrate on making sure they provide the best opportunities for BTS instead of the most opportunities is important. It's quality over quantity in this house, please. Because my bank account is screaming right now. Did anybody buy the limited edition of the BTS World OST? So yeah, quality over quantity, please. Please. Yes, I did know that they're going on Weverse. Like almost immediately after they announced that Big Hit had acquired Source Music, they were like, by the way, GFriend's on Weverse. So yeah, I did know about that. I'm trying to think, is there any other entertainment news that we need to be discussing that we haven't? Trying to think. I'm just looking out here. 17's hit tops iTunes K-pop charts worldwide. Oh, that's nice. Good to hear. Oh, people are still hating on Big Bang. This is not me hating. I'm just saying people are still hating on Big Bang. Taemin and Seulgi need to have children. Their collab on stage is amazing. It was nice to see 3 of FX perform together since we're probably never going to see 4 again. FNC, I don't have any opinion about FNC. I think it's a raggedy company, and I think bad things happen there, and I think it needs to be dissolved, and the only person that should be saved is Honky and Friends. Let's see here. The Korean art, okay, so G-Dragon, can't even talk. G-Dragon's art exhibit deemed to be within Korean Army regulations. The Korean Army has stated that Big Bang members G-Dragon's current art exhibit is not a violation of Army regulations. G-Dragon's art exhibit, untitled 2017, is currently taking place in Taipei, Taiwan, and will also be held in Singapore, China, Thailand, Indonesia, and Hong Kong. G-Dragon's artworks were printed onto acrylic frames and made available for sale. 300 copies of his painting, untitled 2017, are being sold for $518 each, while 700 copies for each of the 6 pieces in the Flower Road series are being sold for $218 each. As a result, questions were raised about the purpose of the exhibit and whether it can be considered to be a profit-seeking nature. G-Dragon is currently serving in the Army, and military laws prevent soldiers from engaging in profit-seeking activities. Regarding this, a source from the Korean Army stated to Mail Business newspaper, "We do not consider G-Dragon's exhibit to be a profit-seeking activity. He made the artworks prior to his enlistment, and because it's a temporary event, we consider it to be a creative activity." Which a lot of netizens were talking about, how is he out here selling these prints when there's a law saying that when you're in the military, you're not supposed to be making money. And this is a really important thing for celebrities, because nothing will destroy your reputation quicker in Korea than Army shenanigans. The Korean public does not play about that shit. That is the reason why Rain has never really completely recovered, because when he was in the military, it was revealed that he took extra days off and that he was meeting with entertainment agencies while he was in the military. Also, several actors have gotten in trouble for signing contracts when they're in the military and having meetings and, being in negotiations for dramas and stuff like that. Ulam is not under SM anymore. And so for that reason, it was a really big deal that he had this exhibit, because people were saying there are laws against making money, and he's selling these prints for fucking $518 a piece. That seems like a money-making effort. Why are y'all allowing this to happen? So I'm glad that was clarified, but at the same time, just FYI, so that you know that this is the reason why it's a big deal. I think Two Heart has been dead a long time, though, to be honest with you. Back in the old days of Key's Instagram, the only celebrity that Key followed was Julian from Infinite. And then I think Key was one of the only celebrities that Julian followed. I don't think they follow each other anymore. Like, I could be wrong. Let's see. Just gonna check real quick to see if Key's still following Lian on Instagram. Oh, I can't check it because I'm not logged in. But I want to see all the people he's following. It's not fair. You're being mean to me. Anyway, somebody please check who Lian is following on Instagram, because it says that he only follows 5 people. And so, yeah, if somebody could check that out. But I know that for a while there, they were not following each other. So I hope that they're still following each other, but it seemed like for a minute that they weren't. I don't want that. This looks bad. So there's that. I'm trying to think of anything else. Okay, so he's not following him. That's what I thought. I figured that they weren't following each other. I don't know what happened with Two Heart. I think that maybe Key and Uyen broke up, and that's the reason why they're not following each other anymore. But I don't know. I could be wrong. They could both be straight. But I feel like that's what happened. Just saying. Like, for them to be the only people that they followed for a long time, and then to go from only following each other to not even following each other anymore, even though they're supposedly friends, that's really strange. I'm just saying, that's strange. That's not typical. So, read into it what you will. Also, if you've ever watched the video for Delicious, yeah. I think they just threw a girl in there because, like, this is a little bit too spicy. You guys have got to throw a girl in here so people won't get the wrong idea. So, not that there was anything wrong, and I hate to say that. That's a horrible turn of phrase. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But still, I think that Korea's not quite ready for the real real. So, just saying. Just saying. Sup? Okay, so I'm going to look at this right here where it says, Key explains the dating rumors between him and Infinite's Wuyen, and this is back in 2004. July 3rd broadcast of NBC's Stargazing featured Chinese Key, Lim Ho, and Song Eun-yi as the panel, and Flight of the Sky trot singer Park Yin-bin and JJY as guests. Ugh, what an awful guest. About the rumor saying that Flight of the Sky's two members were dating each other, Key commented, I heard that rumor too. I heard there were some misunderstandings about the relationship between you two. And Hwan Hee said, there are so many rumors saying that the two members kissed or that they are in love with each other. There is a rumor claiming that we kissed in a car, but that is not true. Then Key asked, what do you do when rumors like that come up? And MC Kang Do-hong said, ask Key, are you speaking from your own experience? Then Key said, every time I'm promoting, I hear things like that. I've heard rumors saying that I'm dating certain members of SHINee or Infinite's Wuyen. There was even a rumor claiming that the company purposely released an album for Wuyen and I in order to hide the fact that we're dating. I just took them as jokes. Okay. Alright. Alright. Whatever. I know that you guys were really dating. You can't fool me. Me and Jonghyun know. But yeah, I feel like they're not dating, but that they used to. So that's how I feel. That's how I feel. Hyungsup unfollowed Key and Wuyen. Wonder what for. I love drama. I'm sorry. I'm such a fucking mess. I love drama. Okay. So, oh snap, I just found out that a new girl group called Rocket Punch is to debut in 2 days. They're under Woollim. I heard about Rocket Punch, and Jury from Produce is in that group. So a lot of people are excited because they felt like she deserved justice, and so they're hoping that she'll get it with Rocket Punch. But yes, I did hear about them probably about a week or so ago. So I've heard about it. How to get a good man. Okay. But yeah, that's sad. You know who I used to think went together, and I know you guys are going to totally shit on me when I say this. I used to think that Woohyung and Jo Kwon used to go together because they were like the best of friends, and Jo Kwon would always post pictures of them like laying in his bed, and I'm like, why are y'all always hanging out in Jo Kwon's bed unless y'all are fucking? And I say that because I have a number of friends in my life. I don't hang out in any of my friends' beds. Maybe it's just me. I haven't hung out in a friend's bed since I was in high school. And that was because my friend didn't own their house. So if we didn't want to hang out in the living room, we'd have to hang out in their room and we would sit on their bed. But as a grown-ass man who has your own apartment, why are you and your friend hanging out on your bed? Why aren't you and your friend hanging out on the couch? Not saying, just saying. But yeah, I used to think that Jo Kwon and Woohyung from 2PM were dating, and I loved it. I loved the idea of it. I thought they were adorable. I think they're so, so cute, and I just love it. I love it. Jo Kwon, Woohyung. Come on. Yeah, bunch of pictures of them like just laid up in the bed with each other. Don't know why. It's always those two fucking laying down with each other. I just feel like they're adorable and I want to see them shine. I want to see them in love. Okay, so I think I've gotten down to the nothingness. I don't really have any other news to discuss. I think I'm pretty caught up on everything. So I'm going to go for the night. Thank you for joining me. I know it was pretty heavy at the beginning of this conversation, but sometimes it's just heavy and we have to live that life and we have to address these things. But I appreciate for you guys to stick in there with me as we went to kind of the lighter stuff. I appreciate that you guys respect my opinion enough to at least engage in the conversation rather than like all out being dismissive. And I hope this helps you in some way feel like you got a friend, because considering all the crap that's going on in the world, we could all really and sincerely use a friend. So I wish you guys the best of luck. I hope you have a great evening, and I will talk to you later. Ooh, and maybe I might do one more live stream this week, but the live stream after that might have a special guest. We'll see. Anyway, talk to you guys later. Bye.